They say the ocean keeps secrets, but that morning, it whispered mine back to me that I stood barefoot on the deck, watching the horizon melt into gold, thinking, this was the one thing in my life no one could take from me. My house. My peace. My proof that I had built something with my own hands that I didn't know someone I loved was already planning to take it away. 5 years earlier, this place had been nothing but peeling paint and sand-covered floors. I'd bought it with every cent I had from running a tiny art gallery downtown. Everyone said I was crazy, oceanfront mortgages are traps. But I worked, I saved, I built. Every storm, every sleepless night, every nail hammered into those blue shutters reminded me I could survive anything. That morning, my phone buzzed out a text from my sister, Clara, coming down next week with Ethan. Finally want to see your beach place. I smiled, bittersweet. Clara and I had grown up sharing everything. Until she married him. Ethan, the man who could turn charm into a weapon. The man who made every room feel smaller the second he walked in. They arrived on a Tuesday, him first, stepping out of a glossy SUV like he owned the coast. He didn't even say hello. Just started circling the house, tapping the deck rails, checking the walls, muttering numbers under his breath. Clara looked thinner. Tired. She hugged me tight, and I smelled her perfume, expensive, sharp, like she was trying to cover something. The place is beautiful, she said softly. You've done so well for yourself. Over dinner, Ethan took control of the table the way he took control of everything. Talking about real estate markets, property values, untapped potential. This house could rent for 20 grand a week in summer, he said, waving his fork toward the ocean. You're sitting on a gold mine. I smiled politely. I'm not renting it out. This is my home. He laughed, an empty, echoing sound. You live here alone? Seems like a waste. The air felt thick after that. Like the storm clouds were already forming. 3 weeks later, the black SUV was back. Ethan was on my deck, talking to a man in a suit. Diana, he said, flashing that same cold grin, this is Mr. Hall from Coastal Management. We're here to discuss rental terms. I froze. What are you talking about? I never agreed to rent anything. Oh, just exploring options. Don't be so emotional. Then Clara stepped out of the SUV, tears already in her eyes. Diana, I didn't know he'd do this, she whispered. Ethan pulled a folded document from his pocket. When your father died, he left that little property back home to both of you. You sold it, split the money. Correct? Yes, but what does that? Well, your sister used her share as collateral for a business loan I took. Which means, technically, your assets are part of our financial portfolio. My breath caught. You're insane. This house is mine. Bought before you even existed in my life. He smiled wider. Paperwork says otherwise. You can stay, if you pay rent. Otherwise, we'll take legal possession. For the first time in my life, I understood what it felt like to stand on a cliff's edge and watch the ground crumble. That night, I called my friend Mia, a paralegal. She listened, then said just one thing, don't sign anything. He's bluffing. It's fraud, Diana. He's trying to scare you. The next morning, I found an envelope taped to my door, Joint Family Asset Agreement. Official letterhead, fake signatures, blank space for mine. Mia's voice echoed in my head. He's betting you'll give up just to make it stop. I didn't sign. Instead, I documented everything. Photos, recordings, texts, because deep down, I knew Ethan wasn't dumb. Sunday night, the sound of engines shattered the quiet. Ethan. The SUV. A moving truck that I watched from the window as he shouted, "Open up, Diana. We're moving in." 2 men started unloading boxes. Clara sat inside the car, crying that I called 911 with shaking hands. When the police arrived, Ethan was already rehearsing his lies. Family property dispute, he said smoothly, waving fake papers. The officer turned to me. Do you live here? Yes. I own this house. He's trespassing. Do you have a key, sir? She asked Ethan. No, but, is your name on the deed? Not exactly, but the legal. Then you're trespassing, she said coldly. Pack your things and leave." His face cracked for the first time that he turned to me, eyes burning. "You'll regret this." I just whispered, "Not anymore." They drove off into the dark, taillights disappearing down the road that I stood on my deck again, the same spot where it all began. The ocean was calm, pretending nothing had happened, but I had changed. Some people steal money. Some steal time, and some, like Ethan, try to steal the one thing you build with your soul. But what he never understood is that a house is only wood and walls, the real home is the fight inside you to protect it.